this time the world is in the space of noise, which is everyone is saying about their plans, and before even they have started begin with anything. So I'm just saying to you, the observation is actually in the space of silence. Because when you allow the space to be silenced rather than the social media has allowed us to um, quite regularly to share what we are going through. But this is quite a noisy thing. It is actually agreeing with whatever the emotions that you're going through. So you find a platform to support that, and you quite interact with that same energy, which actually, on the contrary, you want to get out of it. So this is why the silence is very important. Now, if you really enter into a room and when you hear a speaker constantly talking about something, and then you find somewhere, another place, someone not actually verbalizing, but he listens to everyone, and then he comes, and the observer, when he talks from the space of silence, is much more powerful because he has allowed everyone to show who they are. Now, the silence in family and relationship is also very important because when you not constantly react to people's needs and their own emotions, you can actually allow places for people to show who they are really, truly, because you allow them to settle. Your silence is creating them destruction. So the fire comes out of rage. But to help someone, you need to actually allow them to work within themselves with certain tools. Because no, most of the people actually are reacting verbally like a weapon. Is not that they don't want to look at themselves, so they are going to lash words out to you. Today's class is about how we master our silence. Silence cannot be mastered because as soon as someone threatens in silence, they try to fill it up with words and conversations which are not relevant actually, which are not even very healthy to have those discussions with. So this is why that you have a constant practice so that you can give that space uh, of observation. And I'll let you know and pinpoint to you. Silence is a great healer because in the healing process, what is happening is you're breaking your habitual reactive patterns. And that only can happen not when you're talking about the story, but when you're witnessing it, you become the version of who you truly are. And it doesn't have to be fulfilled with words. So we are going to work on that. Main topic is today is silence and how to embrace it when it does not need your conversation. It does not need for you to publicize its space. That's why it's called silence. All the other things you get to cover the gap of the silence is cheap options. And they're not healthy, whether it's addiction, whether it's a reactive place, whether it's I versus them. So saying that, take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, open up the chest, and allow the breath to come in, and in the space of, if you did naturally want to stay, hold that pose and be aware of that pose. And if naturally wants to leave the body, just witnessing that breath moving out of the body. And then even it wants to have another pause before breathing in. So just observe where your weather patterns are in the body, in the space of the mind, space of the body, space of the breath without a separation. So then you can actually allow the emotions and thoughts that you have been struggling this week uh, just to come into play and keep them on the space of silence. Now I'll move the camera towards Darren. So shoulders roll back, open up the chest, shrug the shoulders and tilt the head back and massage the back of the skull because there is a couple of energy blockages can happen on the C1 and C2 when you are totally in the space of the mind. So open and close the mouth wider and release that tension of the jaw. And when you totally relax, stretch the neck to the right side and allow the gravity of your right hand just to drop onto the right side of the shoulder, but keep becoming aware of your left shoulder. Back to the center. Let's do the same stretch onto the other side. Stretching the neck onto the weight of the left arm onto the left side, keeping the awareness of the right shoulder. Back into the center. So now you have to also understand we are going through this shock at the beginning that ego does not like the idea of the silence. So just for the moment, just allow whatever the success, failures, enmities, friendships, just observe without having a personal note on it. Because for the space of the ego, it is embarrassing if you don't have these spaces because there's nothing for you to prove there. Now take a deep breath in, shrug the shoulders up, breathe out, and collapse the spine into a seated hand. Curve that spine very gently, releasing the tension of that spine. Now take a deep breath in and tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy, and hold the breath in the third eye. Just observe the space without having any space for the ego. Breathe out, release the tension, and collapse into the cat. Now take a deep breath in. This time, lock the anus, lock the navel, lock the throat. Don't move into a cow. Just observe the three locks and pause and hold as much as you can. And breath out and collapse the spine and go back to the cat. So really curve the spine, releasing the tension. You have to do this practice psychosomatically. Now take a deep breath in, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Pull those energy portals and breathe out. Collapse the spine into the cat. Now take a deep breath in, twist the spine to the right side, stomach pulled in. And release that noise of your body, that urge to be the loudest. I need to be heard. I need to be noticed. I need to talk about I'm going through all that. Just for a second. Back into the center. Now change the leg formation and take a deep breath in and twist the spine to the other direction. Now this is release the tension of that you need to constantly prove yourself or explain ourselves. Make sure everyone knows exactly what we are doing. And you are losing energy out of this back into the center. Now take a moment to come into that realization. That realization now is coming into a place that there is nothing to prove to anyone Because you constantly otherwise will have this chatter in your head before even you meet these people to explain yourself. Family, friends, colleagues, world, partners, everyone. This realization is not shouting for attention. It is a silent and a quiet, but it has its confidence, and you're not using your energy to verbalize everything. Now, once you have done both sides of the twist in the spine moving, take a deep breath in and bring that left foot into the back and keep your right hip opening. Now, if you're not constantly battling with your thoughts and emotions and explaining yourself to others, imagine if that energy totally gathers. Now, take a deep breath in, look up, extend the throat, back of the neck, and drop the elbows, hold those palms. Listen if you have directed all that energy, and if you have to use the vibration and the frequency of your voice, that means the whole world will listen, because in that level of silence, it is naturally you have to bow down to respect it. Look at all those sacred places. You're gravitating into these sacred places. Is that because of there is constant noise? Constant, it's proving its sacredness. Why you're leaning into space of God, space of whatever, space of a presence of a teacher, because there's no explanation. People, animal, nature wonder about this space. So create that space within yourself now into the mode of wonder. Take a deep breath in and come back. Shoulders relax and just open. Now, when there is a silence in some space, intentionally has been created, or there's no intention, everyone is gravitating into that out of curiosity. And it gives you an edge, because we are living in an era of absolutely noise and distraction, because this social media, opinions, noises from everywhere, direction to be successful, be healthy, all that. That's for a time. Take a deep breath in and come into a plank, strong on the pelvic floor now. Take a moment when you have stopped seeking for validation. Let your movement, let your realization becomes unstoppable. Some will doubt always, your family, friends, colleagues. But this is a pull that the first hand happens. So be sure that you're not getting pulled into it. Now left knee onto the floor. Take a deep breath in, right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Clench and unclench. Right reaching into the back and touch the feet. Let this silence penetrate into the space of the cell vibration. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back and touch the floor. Drop the knees completely, breathe out to a cat. Take a deep breath in into a cow. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate energy, gaze onto the space of that Chijakasha. Neutral spine, left arm reaching up to the ceiling, left arm under the right armpit. And take a moment to release that tension. Let the shoulders relax, shoulder blades relax. Mhm. Let that head turn and get the energy to flow. Let your progress be within yourself. Let your resolve be your voice. The most loudest space is never powerful. Most you gravitate is a person, that one who's constantly stay focused in the practice, and let them wonder about you, because silence demand respect from others, not words. Take a deep breath in and very gently come back. Come back into a neutral spine. Give a good rotation to the hips and allow this truth to penetrate into the space of your body, space of your mind, space of where your body, where your mind, where your thoughts. What a rotation to the other side. Because the world rewards only noise at the moment. Huh? Platforms are given to noises. Hmm. People listen to the noises. Who makes the biggest noise in the world? Because that is the conditioning part. Media is doing it. Film industry is doing it. Voices are doing it. Now stretch the spine into the back, palms facing up. Take a break from it. They want you to talk about yourself. That's where you're going to get that. More people talk about you, more people heard about you constantly in the spotlight. You think that you're gaining influence, but you're not. Undeniable strength comes from that restraint. It comes from knowing when to speak more, when to not to speak. So allow the practice to come into this place. You will thank yourself one day for knowing this practice. Now very gently, palms facing down, crawling and bring the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in and coming into a gentle cobra, elbows on the floor, because you're just finding a space to allow the body. You're not triggering the body through your voice. You're allowing your insecurities, your level of validation from the outside, not to provoke. Otherwise, something meaningful that you say, no one listens because you have been constantly talking. But when you're silence in the space of the Bhujangasana, overlooking to the right side, overlooking into the left side, people want to listen to you. If you constantly talk, even the most amazing new words and vocabulary, words lose their weight. They just become background noises. It's like waves coming and disappearing. But the moment you carefully hold that space, whether it's in the relationship, whether it's in the work, whether it's another matter that you're creating, it carries more impact because everything is leaning towards to you. Relax the third eye onto the floor and roll the third eye and release that tension very gently and keep this space of your Chiddakasha free. The best place is when you listen to everything, when you observe and you speak only when it truly matters. So you sit silent long as it takes in your life because your silence make your ego very uncomfortable. So is the other people's ego. Anticipate and shift the energy back into your practice. Now bring those palms where your elbows are, breathing in into up face. Shoulders relaxed and chest open, elevate. Breathe out towards the down face. Now very gently move into the down face, so don't open up too quickly. Otherwise, you will waste the energy trying to prove yourself in a posture, try to prove yourself into anything. It is not proving yourself. Don't waste. Let the practice prove itself with the movement and the breathing and observation. There's an unshakable confidence in this practice. Now take a deep breath in and bring the left foot into the front, into the pigeon pose. Shoulders roll back, soften the posture, observe the posture, observe the breath, observe the dashboard for all the space of your emotions are, and know who you are when you're certain of your practice. You don't need validation, you don't need applause yourself because you're quiet. Take a deep breath in, shoulders relax, lift up the space of the heart, and drop the elbows, move those palms facing up. In this place, you're not weak. But if you're constantly talking about what you're doing, you must not be doing anything at all but talking. The most impact spiritual leaders that had in this space is they operate in the space of silence. They don't announce anything. They don't even announce their goal or the samadhi because they don't want to waste energy before even they have started. Because you're giving this energy to argue with your own doubters. It can be even family, it can be even friends, it can be even colleagues. So observe where you are stuck, proving yourself into this space of doubt. Let your silence speak for itself. Let people finally notice it. Not because you demand attention, because you earn it. This is what makes curiosity makes people wonder. But if you're constantly giving up who you are, what you are, by talking, imagine how much you have lost out there. They'll never take you seriously. When you don't give away everything, when you don't feel the need to strategic, when you're always explaining yourself and you give people the chance to hold the unresolved emotions in you and your plans, and suddenly you have lost your plan. You reveal too much. You open yourself up unnecessary for criticism. But when you stay in this practice, it keeps people guessing. You maintain the control, you move with purpose, intention. And when you come into this realization, whether it's the health, whether it's what you're building up now, whether it's what you're elevating into the growth, come back. Very gently coming back. Now observe, I may have affected your ego. Just observe because it doesn't want to leave that easily. This approach, it will question you why you're so quiet. into a plank. Strong on the pelvic floor. Take a deep breath in, right knee onto the floor. Left arm reaching up. Take a deep breath. It's an extension of your silence. Silence doesn't have to be not moving. It's reaching into the back. Take a deep breath in, right arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back, and very gently touch the floor. Now drop the knees. Completely breathe out to a cat, breathing into a cow, breathing in into a neutral spine, right arm reaching up to the ceiling, under the armpit. Let the world fill the blanks about you. I always love this place. Let them think whatever they want to think. People only will come to their own assumption because at the end of the day, it's not about what they think, about what you build, what you have elevated. Now take a deep breath in. When you have next time the urge to prove yourself with words, take this class, pause and ask yourself, do I really need to say this? Or can my growth speak? Because the louder, the more you're not embracing the silence. You're gaining more energy now from the space of the practice, from the resist. You don't need for constant validation. Stronger you become because the people who truly command respect are the ones who demand attention. They are the ones who don't need. So silence commands respect. Take a deep breath in and come back into a place of a cat, place of a cow. Let the breath, let get the flow of the silence into the body, into the cell, into the vibration, and start respecting these principles that not only socially on a platforms, they are not respected. They are not noticed because the world is where it rewards noise. Neutral spine, give a good rotation to the hips, wide rotation to the other side. Let that body, let that digestion, let that spleen, let that liver, let that pancreas come into this space. Push the hip into the front, stretch the spine into the back, palms facing up. Now you have to ask that why have I got addicted to talking about things? Because when you are a child, you have to constantly explain to your parents. We are constantly told to speak up to. We are constantly told to make ourselves heard. So people know what you're doing. But imagine if you have reversed this and was more silent, you would have found that space that you don't seek validation through words. And that would have been a respect because that actually creates a lot of imbalances among the family and the friends when you don't talk. They ask you, is everything all right? Are you okay? Because they are so conditioned to noise. The world is in the space of the sake of talking, they talk. It does not create that impact. But in silence, in intention, you've been heard more than ever before. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing in into our face, shoulders relaxed and chest open. Breathe out towards a down face, breathing in into a plank. Drop the knees, stretch the spine, crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing into a up face, breathing out to a down face, breathing in into a plank, drop the knees and stretch the spine, crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing in into a up face, breathe out towards the down face, breathing in left foot into the front, arms stretch into the back, arms brace onto the crown, palms onto the namaskar position. I just want to take you quickly through that to understand that you have not lost in the moment your silence. So take notice. Bring the breath, bring the mind, intention to the body. Now, when you're not immediately reacting to these postures, you're not rushing to fill the silence, your frustration. You're not needing to explain yourself. Now, it's not only people, the whole creation is now paying attention to this space. Now, take a mudra from that into the Virabhadrasana. Now you have authority on the space of Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Patani. All the forces are leaning in wonder to respect this space because you're not unshaken. Who wants to land on a ground that is constantly shaking? Now, let be this your constant expression. Who controls the samadhi controls the space, not as a controller. Gentle arch. Take a deep breath in and coming back into the sink. Elbow onto the knee. Right arm reaching up. Now use a block and move into the Purna Trikonasana, straightening the front knee. We haven't done this for a while because I want this energy to go through a calculation, a meaning, and very gently come into that alignment. Let that alignment create everything to be respectfully moving towards, and it's an endless supply because your frequency and you wait, but this precision, when it is coming out of that precise alignment when you speak, your words carried almost enlightenment. Right, reaching into the front and touch the floor. Now bend the knee, left arm reaching up to the ceiling and touch the floor. Into a plank. Drop the knees and stretch the spine. Take a moment. Let be this posture, space of. Now we are not drowning. Do not resist the urge to fill the gaps with unnecessary stories. Now imagine the control that you have not as control as force. Now people have to work really hard to understand, to engage. Imagine you're doing a negotiation on this space, in this level. It will be always on your turn because you choose to carry yourself every day in a life, in a world obsessed with oversharing, with constant proving. Silence is a confidence. Most successful people in all levels never talk about anything. They'll spend time explaining themselves. Into that space of your creativity. Just do it. Do it unannounced. They give all the energy to results to speak for them. And you leave others wondering, which is not the best way, but they are going to go crazy when you're in total creative space. Wonder, let people be curious about you. Because the less you say, more control you have your own narrative. Stop explaining yourself. Just do the service what you're doing. Love the service what you're loving. Take a deep breath in, palms facing down, coming into up face. Down face. Right foot into the front, arms stretching to the back, palms raised onto the ground, palms onto the namaskar position. And then you sit deeper. Now observe. Don't fill the blanks for anyone, don't fill the blanks for others, just observe. When you come into this space, take a Virabhadrasana and hold a mudra. When you hold this space, people know that they see you as someone who operates on a different level, someone who does not need to seek approval, someone who is focused. That is the real approval on someone with focus. The real secret is silence creates focus. The more time you spend justifying anything to others, less time you have to work actually. Take a deep breath when you come into this realization. Gentle arch. Come back. Elbow onto the knee. Left arm reaching up. And very gently transition this energy into the Purna Trikonasana. Now let this alignment that you're not proving anything on the asana, you're not proving the breath, you're not proving anything to yourself. Actual progress of this posture, asana, is staying in the space of observing, staying in silence, focused. Let others waste their time talking about what they might do, but when actually you're moving in the practice and working on it. People may misunderstand your silence. Let be that they might think you're weak. They might think you're gone out of fashion. Let it be. Assume you have nothing to say, nothing to contribute. Let them, while they are busy forming opinions, you're busy moving forward while they are making noises. Because there's a progress there is a growth happening in you. Like reaching into the front, touch the floor, bend the knee, right arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back. and touch the floor. Into a plank, drop the knees and stretch the spine. Never win battle by having a loud noise. I have a lot of people in my life also. I just allow them to talk and I love them and I agree what they say about me, but they are still wondering. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to seek validation to tell what is. But I only can do that if I am in the space of the practice. Becoming powerful is not, I have never taught you because I have words, but constantly disciplining myself to come to you every Saturday. That has built up the gentle confidence. Whoever notice it, whoever understand it, in the end, that place of realization does not come because we are talking about it. It comes from committing to that space of the practice. And who stays the most focused will allow every place of their results, whether it's well, relationship, health, because they're all coming from the space of silence. Because that silence commands respect. Because at the moment, world rewards noise. Don't get caught up in it. It wants you to get caught up in it. They say, we want to hear you, we want to hear you. Last time when someone seen and heard you, what have they done? When you have that discipline, you aren't the ones who are making the most noise. You're the ones who move through that noise. Look at the mind. If you're constantly going to answer all your mind, it will be chaotic. But if you move through your own mind, it has confidence. Words are only as valuable as the meaning behind them, and who chooses to let their action speak louder than anything they could say. There's something about this quiet. I want you to savor the taste of this practice. Come to a child pose now, to the innocence of this space. I want you to just wake up the spine into the space of the meditation. Coming into a position where you're going to seat it very gently. Take a moment now, observe the breath, allow the body to settle as you have settled it. And do not rush into your thoughts to answer them or creatively where you want those thoughts to go. Coming to that space of observation in a 360-degree. You will have more tension in this pose than any movement because you're bringing the whole universe to be in the curiosity. You're drawing energy. because you're creating presence far stronger than talking. So I want your practice to be far stronger than thoughts, far stronger than talking. Once your realization comes into this, you don't seek validation from others. You don't demand respect, you earn. Let your mind be the world filled with distractions, but you have become the observer of. Let all thoughts and all opinions to ability to remain focused on this space. It's easy to get caught up on one of those noises. Oh, observe, is there urge is now to feel the need to justify your noise? Do you need to explain all your move because you're not moving now? So I urge you to respond to every doubt. Don't waste energy. So imagine if you lock this energy into something that you're going to create next couple of months in this space. Whether it reboosts your relationship with you, reboosts your relationship with your wealth, reboost your energy with your health, because now you're entering from a different realm. Let your results speak. Now, inquire yourself, is the loud equals being powerful in this level of perception? Does it make you important? If you want to make noise, make progress. Take the area that you have remained quite focused, whether it's health, wealth, relationship. Now let the practice be in the space of that observation. Let this space of realization now, what are you not doing? You're not talking more. You're not explaining more. You're not inviting opinions and criticism and doubts. So just observe. You have the space has given you the upper. Now, when you're holding this intention right now, you're not giving others the opportunity to influence your path. You can see with these great spiritual leaders or other people who have achieved that space. So not filling moment with words. More you're listening to your own path. And when you speak, it is a loud thunder. Now the difference is you're not demanding from anything from your ego. Let people have assumptions. They will wonder why you are so quiet, why you don't overshare like everyone else. Let them, because they are trying to focus on trying to figure you out, focus on building something real is yours. You're not here to justify and proving yourself to the others. You talk more and you fight more, it has distracted you, become more. Now, what are you going to do out of this practice when you have need to convince others? Is that because you're doing less? Take a moment. Imagine how much we are transforming each other through this silence. While everyone making assumptions, you're moving, you're flowing. They are caught up in distractions, you're staying focused. Your world will be better because your realization has come in without getting caught up in distractions. Now, what are you going to do in the next time when you have the urge to explain yourself or seek validation to prove your worth? Take a moment and step back into this practice. Next time when you have to talk about it, you will just do the work you're trying to do. The biggest impact you can do when you have less noise. Once you have focused to stay in space of observation. Don't ever think you go unnoticed when the world rewards noise. Everyone take that fake holiday, run into this, run into that, saying that it's silence. When their minds are loud, now you know when to stay silent, when to listen. You're not shouting for attention. Become the person who doesn't always explain, because practice will allow you. There is no need to create presence now. Allow this presence of aura to be there. Let things lean into you. Let things wander into you. Now, when you come into that realization, now there's no age to feel it with words, feel it with food, feel it with addiction. There's, now you're coming out of the normality that everyone needs to share every thought and idea, every move. Before you build anything that is healing for you. When you come into this realization, Arms very gently raised back into the crown, broadcasting the space of silence. Palms onto the Namaskar position. You have come into the space of you keep the head down, doing the work rather than talking about it. There's a space of signage. People will realize what you have built within yourself because you're unstoppable in that space. Now, whatever it is for you, arms very gently raised back to the ground, cleansing the space and the aura with this level of and announcing that space of the silent frequency. Closing the third crown chakra, protecting the space of the third, throat, heart, solar plexus, and navel, and Muladhara. Let your practice do the talking. Arms very gently raised back to the crown. Gently touch the earth, respect for that space. You're gently taking refuge in the space of the world and the body and the navigation of the space of the mind. Gently coming into the Namaskar position. Namaste. So very gently take a moment to pass this process and let your practice speak for itself. Let it be the intentions with clarity that impacts, that will make the people to listen in that space to understand you really. So you see, we are going through a lot. So I'm answering for a lot of text messages. As, some of you have not been in the practice for a long time, so you send me a text. Is the world is in a place? Is it safe? World is never this or that. World is where you are at. When you go to a jungle, you can run into rivers, or you can avoid the trees and falls and walk. So world is everything. Uh, And people asking why are people so into wars and all that? Take your family. Is everybody is into peace? No. So even if you get a country or whatever you call a crowd, among that is all different individualities. And you generate in that space of silence where you want to generate the frequency of your life. And one thing you have to understand, you don't have to prove to anyone about your worth. Let the practice be. That's why I just came into the space of the silence because we normally talk about a topic. And topics can energize our emotions and move us into the space of the frequency of uh, healing. Silence does more healing than actually being loud about things. So saying that my love for all of you and revisiting this space again and again in your life, it will do much more wonders. But as I say, there's nothing to sell in it, but to be in it. It's the experience. Mm. So that the urge to, I need to tell them what they're thinking, I am thinking, all this is rubbish. Huh? And I constantly get this. I call it noise harassment. People have a lot of words, but no action in it. But it is no healing. It is lot to damage. And some are coming into your life, some are leaving your life. Don't chase it. Be a vacant place for some to come, some to go, some to react. Because silence also, remember your silence. You really get to know what someone is struggling with their own emotion because they will throw that at you the more silent you are. First, they try to get into a fight by talking about it and get a reaction. But if you don't give it, you really know what they are upset about. But it will eventually let them see where they are at and don't take it personal. Mm. You have to have that shield of love within yourself so that you don't drown with it. My love to you all. Great to see you, Matt. Great to see you, Gaza, Rebecca, and the beautiful children, son, and Maria, and Sage, Nicolina, Sylvia, and Liz. Visit this class most of the time. It will bring a lot of benefits to you all. My love to you and big hugs. Have a wonderful day.